We are going to be doing a sideline series. If you have your own yoga mat, you can go ahead and roll that out. This can also be done on a rug or carpet. You have an option to use a hand weight for some of the exercises we're doing. If you don't have hand weights at home, you can also use canned goods. They make a great at-home hand weight. Another optional thing you may use is a rolled up towel, especially if you're not using a yoga mat. That can be nice if you have any sort of sensitivities to the wrist or palms. You can have a rolled up towel to place your hands on if you're directly on the carpet, or you can always roll up your mat at any time when we are weight bearing on our hands. So we're going to go ahead and get started on our side. With our knees bent, we're thinking about a nice 90-degree angle of our hip and knee, and then bring that head all the way down. We're going to start with just some nice pinwheel arms. So I'm going to extend my arm forward, and then I'm going to draw a nice big circle up above my head, all the way out. Oh, you might run into your couch as well. That's all right. Big reach. This is a nice opportunity to warm up the shoulders and the ribs, get that waist moving a bit. While I'm doing this though, I want to think about those knees and hips staying stacked. So staying in line here, I'm not letting it be loose through the lower half. Go ahead and reverse that arm now. My goal is to see how long I can keep my arm on the floor while keeping those hips together, knees together and heavy on the floor. Good. We'll go ahead and bring that hand now to our hip. And we're going to move on to some clamshells. So we're going to work on this lower half now. Still think about a nice active waist, but we're going to keep those heels together and just externally rotate that top hip. So I want to think about not moving through that low back, through that lumbar spine. So another option is to place your hand on that low back. That's just a gentle reminder to keep that low back nice and steady, so that we're just focusing on that top hip, finding that deep hip rotation. Let's go ahead and take one more here, warming up those glutes as well. We're going to straighten that leg now towards the bottom of your mat. Move that hand back to your hip if you'd like. And we're going to go into some lateral leg raises, lifting up and back down. Keep that top waist really nice and long. That side of the leg working here, lifting up and back down. Let's take 4 more. Tension out of the jaw. Good. We're going to go into forward and back kicks. Swing that leg forward and pull it back. Good. Swing that leg forward and pull it back. Good. Swinging it forward and pull it back. I'm going to move forward on my mat just a bit. There we go. Good. So as you've got that leg going, if you're feeling pretty secure through your center, you can add this top arm into opposition. So opposite arm and leg swing. Keeping a nice long low back, active waist. Now you've got movement in that upper body and lower body. Good. We're going to do just a couple more here. Trying to get as much range of motion through that leg as possible. Good. Go ahead and relax that leg for just a moment. Now we're going to take little circles, 4 in each direction. 3 and 4. Go ahead and reverse, just activating those glutes a little bit more. 3 and 4. Good. We're going to go ahead and bring those knees back together and come up to our elbow and forearm. Really important here that we think about our shoulder and elbow being in line, and then both sides of my waist are really, really long. So I'm keeping really active through here and an active supporting shoulder. We're gonna bicycle our top leg 6 times in each direction. So I extend it forward, pull it back as far as you can, bend the knee to send it forward. So we'll do 6, just like that. One more in this direction, and then we're gonna reverse. We'll start from the back, starting with that bent knee, then straight leg, bring it forward, bend the knee to bring it back. You'll notice I'm gonna keep lifting up and out of my shoulder. I have a little bit of movement in my torso, but not much. I'm trying to keep everything really active. Keep lifting my ribs away from the floor. Take one more in this direction. Good. And then we'll bring those knees together and we'll come up onto our hand now. So this is where we're going to start doing some weight bearing on our hand. If at any point you need to roll up the mat or take that rolled up towel underneath the wrist, underneath the hand, that is an option for you. So we're going to start with side bend with a hip lift. I'm going to always think about finding that alignment, that hand and shoulder as I reach up and over, thinking about scapular reach down the back and then back down. Really nice active waist. Reach up and over and back down. Two more. And last one. Good. We're going to go ahead and come up to a side kneeling plank. So I'm on the side of my knee here. Top hand can go behind your head and neck. And we're going to go into a lateral leg raise here. Staying really lifted through that waist. Good. We're going to come on down. We're going to repeat both of those series. If you would like to add in the hand weight, this is your opportunity. You can do everything that we just did unweighted, or you can add a hand weight. So we go into a side bend with a hip lift, adding in a little bit more work here for that top arm. A little bit more weight here. Halfway. Last one. Good. And then instead of taking that hand behind my head and neck for my lateral leg raises, I'm going to add a tricep extension. So I find my side plank, and then as I lift my leg, I extend my arm out. One more. Good. Go ahead and come on down, set that hand weight to the side if you were using it, and then we're going to come into a Z-sit. So you'll notice that that side that I was just on, that's the leg that's going to be in front. My working leg that did my lateral leg raises is to the side. And I want to think about having a really nice wide position here. If this is too much for your hips, at any point you can move to a cross-legged position or a seated position. Thinking about a really nice tall spine, lifting up and out through the crown of the head and down through those sits bones. We're going to go into lateral mermaids. We're going to reach up and over, carving over with that top arm. Sit up really tall to go up and over to the other side. Keep those shoulders away from the ears. Now, my sits bones might not be touching the mat at this time. That's okay, don't force it. But if they are, or even if they're not, we're gonna think about them reaching towards the mat the whole time. Anchoring down through those sits bones, through those hips, so that the spine moves on top of those legs. Good, we're gonna go ahead and add a little rotation now, reaching up and over both arms towards the mat. Try to reach your forehead down, and then reverse all the way up and over. See if you can go towards that side leg. Nice breath moving through the body. We'll take one more in each direction. Good, coming out of that twist, we're gonna go ahead and repeat everything we did on that first side onto our second side. So we're gonna first start all the way down on our side. Arms are gonna go into that pinwheel arm, that top arm. So reach that forward, and knees are together, and we'll take that nice big circle. Thinking about opening up those ribs, opening up the shoulders, the chest. Your goal is to keep that arm on the mat, on the floor as long as possible. Keep that low back from moving. Knees and hips stay glued together. And it's always good to check in with that breath. See how you're feeling. We'll go ahead and reverse that arm now. Pinwheel the other direction. Again, you might need to navigate your furniture as well. If your head and neck allow, you can look where that hand is going. Let's go ahead and just take one more in this direction. Good. On our side, we're going to go into those clamshells. So keeping the hips nice and stacked, keeping that low back nice and long, and heels glued together, we open that top knee. It might not be a very big range of motion. That is all right. We're finding those deep hip rotators, keeping that low back in neutral, and thinking about a nice active waist. Helps to warm up those glutes a bit as well. Let's go ahead and just take one more clamshell, and then we're going to straighten that leg towards the bottom of your mat. Lateral leg raises, keeping that waist nice and long. Two more. And then we go into forward and back kick. Start with just that leg. Forward and back. Active through that waist. I'm trying to see how much range of motion I can get with my leg, with my hip, while maintaining a nice, stable torso. So now that I've got that leg going, I can add my arm into opposition. So now upper body and lower body coordinating. Torso nice and stable. Let's go ahead and just take one more in each direction. And then we're going to draw those 4 little circles. Active waist. And 4 little circles the other way. Good. Go ahead and come up to your elbow and forearm. Knees together. Again, I want to think about shoulder and elbow starting in line. Keep lifting those ribs up away from the mat as much as you can. We're gonna bicycle 6 times in each direction. Keep lifting that waist. 2 more. And then we get to start from the back. Bring that leg forward. Good. Two more in this direction. Good. Go ahead and bring those knees together. We're going to go ahead and come up to our hand now for our side bend with the hip lift. First set unweighted, second set can be weighted if you would like. Keep those knees stacked, active arm, nice wide spread of the fingers and palm. Reach up and over, plug that shoulder blade in, and come on down. We're going to go ahead and come to our side kneeling plank. I'm on the side of that knee, hand behind the head and neck for that first set, that unweighted set, lateral leg raises. Good. Go ahead and come on down. Go ahead and grab that hand weight if you'd like for our second set. Remember that we start with the knees together, start with side bend with the hip lift, just adding in a little bit of weight for that top arm. Halfway there. Take one more. Good. Go ahead and come up to your side kneeling plank. And we're going to extend that arm as we lift the leg. Halfway. Good. Go ahead and come on down. Set that hand weight out of your way if you're using it. And we've come into our Z-sit on the other side. So again, my legs are nice and wide, bringing energy down through those sits bones, up and out through the crown of the head, and relaxing those shoulders down. We go into our lateral mermaids, reaching up and over to the other side. Always thinking about sending energy down through those sits bones, up and out through the crown of the head. I'm trying to create more space between the ribs and top of hip. You can encourage that mobility through the ribs by taking nice deep belly breaths as you move. In through the nose and out through the mouth. We're going to add rotation now, reaching up and over. Trying to reach your forehead down and rainbow those arms up and over towards that side leg. Go ahead and take one more in each direction. Unwinding, coming out of rotation, Go ahead and just come to a comfortable seated position. You can sit cross-legged, bottoms of your feet together, or legs extended, however feels best to you. We're just going to end with some nice deep belly breathing, concentrating on movement from your belly. You can let your eyes close. Hands can go to the belly or the knees, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Relaxing the shoulders, the jaw, the head and the neck. Adjusting as you sit to sit a little taller. You don't need to be perfectly still. Let's take one more nice deep belly breath. Good. If your eyes are closed, go ahead and open them. Lovely job. Thank you.